Lisan Al Gaib, everybody. I probably mispronounced that. If you don't understand what that means, then chances are you have not seen Dune Part 2. If that's the case, I appreciate you. We appreciate you stopping by, but go buy a ticket right now. Grab a Red Bull because it's probably late wherever you're at, and go watch the 2 hour and 45-minute sci fi epic, and then come join us again for a Dune spoiler discussion. It is myself and Mr. Keith Barnes, the better half of Bartley and Barnes. The other half should be joining us here shortly, but for now, let's do our hellos. Keith, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. The other half just text us and ask if everything's good. So I don't know. Maybe he's having some technical difficulties on his side. I don't know. Told him where. I said, I said where. Anyway, yeah, I'm good. Still on vacation. I'm in the last the waning days of my 2 week vacation. So it's been nice. It's been nice to have 2 weeks off. I don't like. I love it, but also, when you get to this point, it's like I don't want to go back to work. And that's of course, duh. Like, who wants to? But I'm really like, man, I wish. I need to win that big 680 something million right now. I need to win that. I need to win that.
Oh, the lottery thing, yeah.
Yeah. I need that. I
That
like
thing's a
being off.
scam, buddy. Okay, you ever see Michael Bay's
Somebody
The Island?
wins.
Okay, you know what happens when
Yeah.
you win?
Yes. Oh wow, I forgot about that movie. Yeah, that's what a weird
Or
movie.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Absolutely.
I just realized I sent the link to Jacob's Yahoo and not his Gmail
Oh,
account.
okay.
So that's why he's like, first
Okay.
off, Jacob, you need to have access to StreamYard, okay? I know it's been some time, buddy, but get your login, hit up Jake, okay, and get your login back, buddy. So, just in case I can't run this thing. But
That's why I
yeah.
don't have you send it to any of my emails. I say just send it to my send it to me on Messenger.
Yeah, he's like
We'll
sending.
have it.
Anyways, I just got back from a visit in Sacramento.
Yes.
I went back home. I missed you. I missed you, and I
Yes.
missed Jacob Bartley. I'm sad. I got to see Jake though. I got to see him for a little bit and gave him some of Tennessee's finest whiskey. So
Oh, good.
I want to see him enjoy that sometime soon on the Whiskey Jedi. It's always nice to go back home and recharge for a little bit, but the sucky part is at the tail end of each, starting your days off and ending your days off. You got to go through airports and all these flights and whatnot. And yesterday was a long one. I got back yesterday. I left Sacramento at like 10:30. Got to Nashville around 11 p.m. and that's 11 p.m. Nashville time, and
Yeah.
it sucked and
Yeah.
whatnot. But I'm here. I'm hanging in there because we're gonna talk about one of the biggest movies of the year already, and get into all of that. But before we do, we're gonna bring in the third member of our weekly collaboration, and that is Mr. Jacob Bartley. Hold on, let me fix this right here. Wait. Yeah, you get right there. Cool.
There we go. Yeah.
There it is. Jacob, I apologize. I sent the link to your Yahoo and I thought everything was cool. And then I realized,
So
wow.
I actually have been waiting since like 7:25.
This guy's been waiting all day. He's been standing out in line like how people used to stand out in line at GameStop back in the day when physical media was a thing.
No worries,
Jacob,
man.
how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty well. Not bad. It's long work day, but could not miss out on this conversation for sure.
You guys, I take it, obviously, I've seen Dune Part 2. Did you catch it in XD, IMAX, or on streaming?
XD, Cinemark XD. That's been my go-to lately. I mean, I love IMAX. I wish I would have seen it in IMAX, but it's so much easier just to go down the street and watch it at the Cinemark XD. But not a bad view at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. I went downtown. Because it's close by. So I went and saw it right early in the morning, last Friday morning, 11:30, XD. So I remember when we saw it, the first one that was in IMAX.
Yeah, it was, and that was incredible. Like I should have went IMAX because for this movie, just the way like the sand and everything looks, I feel like you're there, like on the IMAX screen.
Yeah, when I see it again, I'm gonna go to IMAX for sure.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I tried to go IMAX, but legit, a lot of my IMAX screenings were booked.
Oh wow!
And that's
in Nashville.
No, this is in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the screenings were booked, or maybe there were like 1 or 2 seats left, and I was with a group watching it, and it was just it was crazy. And then you look at the opening box office numbers worldwide, it grossed $182 million. Now, keep in mind, the budget for Dune Part 2, and Hollywood needs to take a lesson for this, a lot of studios, the budget for Dune Part 2 was $180 million. And when you look at this film, when you think back to some of the sequences, you're like, how? I mean, okay, there are people out there who are calling this movie a masterpiece, and all subjective. Absolutely, I could see where they're coming from. I'm not ready to call it that, but I will say it is Denis Villeneuve's masterpiece. And considering what he's done so far, I mean, that's incredible right there. I need to watch this movie a few more times. I need it to stand the test of time. And then I will, go down that route. Because, I mean, look at The Dark Knight, right? There are people who are trying to like, it's not that good now. But at the time, and you especially remember this, Keith, like for the first couple of months since that movie released, phenom, mind-blowing, the greatest, right? Best picture. So I need to let it simmer a little bit. I love what I saw. I can't wait to go back. But you guys tell me your initial reactions for Dune Part 2 stepping out of the theater.
Go ahead, Keith. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Oh, I listen. I watched you guys know how much I love that first one. I watched it twice before going to see Part 2 last week.
Nice.
That first weekend it came out, I watched it, including I watched it like the night before, excuse me, and then in the morning, literally right before I went to go see it. So I went right from the first one right into the second one. So it going back to back like that, really, it rolled perfectly right into, the second one picks up right where the first one leaves off. But I loved it. Of course, I mean, I absolutely loved it. I same thing, Gio. I need to see it a few more times. Need to sit with it a little bit longer. I think maybe off the top of my head, like just right away, having just watched it the one time, I think I like the first one more but this one, like I said, it's a continuation of the same story, so it's hard to kind of separate them. If you want to separate them, I would pick the first one, but I think they're by a very narrow margin. This is way more action, and you get more of the story. And I like I same as you. Like I said, Gio, I'm gonna stop short of calling it masterpiece, even though I think I did say that to somebody a few days ago. But I'll wait.
And hey,
I'll wait.
If that's how you feel,
I'm right there.
By all means.
I feel I can. I'm right there. But I'm just, the only reason I'm saying that is because let me just hold off, see it a couple more times, get a little more time before I say that. But I do feel that. I do feel that way. I feel it. I get why people are saying that. I mean, Denis Villeneuve at his finest, man. I mean, he's made all his movies are like this, all of them, and it's. I don't know. I watched Sicario the other day. See, right? And that I mean, just his movies are all so epic, man. It's just God, So yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it.
So
my
for
favorite
you, it's like
Denis Villeneuve film is Enemy, but that's
yeah.
Which actually Jake challenged me to watch back when we did the movie watching challenge.
Same,
but
same. Yeah.
No, I mean I really love Enemy, but it's hard to not go with Dune 2 as the best Denis film, honestly. But still, I'm letting it sink in as well.
Yeah.
So for Keith,
go ahead, Gio. What were you saying?
I'm thinking based off of what you said, Keith. It's so Dune Part 1 is 1A and Dune Part 2 is 1B. It's that close for you,
right? Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Yeah.
You mean as far as your favorite Villeneuve films, or what do you mean?
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, I meant just like him compare. Sorry, go ahead, Keith. You explain.
Comparing the two.
You like the first one a little bit more?
Yeah. For now.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point,
So did you consider the first one a masterpiece? Like, do you?
Okay. Absolutely.
That's fair.
Yeah. 100%. Like I watched that movie. You remember we saw it in theater, and then it was on HBO Max at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched it 4 times just that weekend, and I've probably watched it 6 or 7 times since then. I love that first one. I think it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, but I'll give this one time to get there. It will, because it's right there. So
Well,
nice.
Talk to me, awesome. Jacob.
Yeah,
Talk to me about your reaction.
So, I mean, it's a phenomenal movie. I love it. That being said, I talked to Gio about this. Like, usually, so let's say like leading up to Endgame or something, or Spider-Man No Way Home. Usually I go dark. Like, I don't listen to any reviews. I stop watching podcasts. I don't even want to hear, like, this is just my personal way of doing it. I don't even want to hear what my favorite pundits think about the movie, because I know their tastes. So like, usually what they say are going to, change my anticipation for it. So like, I'm not the biggest Dune fan in the world. I love the first movie, and I've never read the book. So I'm not that crazy about Dune in general. So I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to go dark for this movie. That might've been a mistake, because I think the hype for it went way too far for me. Like, so people that I listen to are saying like one of the best movies I've ever seen, like saying it's better, like saying it's on par or might be better than Return of the King. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm in for like one of the best movies of all time. Like, and that's what I went in like thinking. And the whole time I'm like waiting, like, when is it going to be one of the best movies of all time? Like, come on, be that. Instead, I should have just enjoyed it for what it is, which is a freaking amazing movie. Like it is a spectacle. Like, as far as a movie that, to watch in a theater experience, it is one of the best theater experiences. I mean, along with the first one, they kind of go hand in hand. And I'm curious how it'll sit with me, because I usually lean towards like the first movie in a series or a trilogy. Like, the first Lord of the Rings movie is my favorite one. The first Star Wars movie is my favorite one. I mean, A New Hope. So like, I wonder I like them both equally, the Dune movies so far, but we'll see. I mean, they're hard to compare. They're kind of different movies, even though they're in the same, they're kind of like one big movie, but they're also 2 different movies in a way. And I really enjoyed the first one. Like, I remember sitting there and I was like, it's over already? Like not in a bad way, like meaning I wanted more, like I didn't want it to end. But anyways, for Dune Part 2, like, I'm on the point where, like, clearly the best movie of the year. If a movie's better than this year, then that's going to be insane. And I'm on that level. Like, we don't do scores anymore, but I'm on like 9.5 out of 10 level. Like, I'm just not like, Return of the King, Empire Strikes Back, Godfather level. Like, I'm not on that level, but who knows? Maybe in 2 weeks I will be, if I see it again and I think about it more. I might be. But the fact that I could even say that, like consider that possibility, is saying something. Like it's truly a great film.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat with you in a sense in regards to hearing a lot of the word of mouth and just the buzz of people who got to see early screenings, and then of course our buddy Jake Berlin who got to see a fan screening, and all of a sudden Twitter is just blowing up Dune Part 2. I mean, if it wasn't the popcorn buckets that were going viral, it was the reactions and all of that. And for me, there were two moments that really took this movie to another level. The first was Paul Atreides riding a sandworm. That whole sequence right there.
That's great.
Just the way it's shot, and then just the close up of it and the detail with the sand and the sound of it, and you kind of feel like you're on there. Just incredible. But the second part was being introduced to the Harkonnen planet and the whole
that was really good.
white, and then the introduction of Austin Butler's Fade character, and then just that whole
my favorite
battle
part of the movie is
I was just like,
Austin Butler.
My god, yeah, let's talk about that. We had some hype with Austin Butler's character. By the way, guys, we're gonna go all over the place. Okay, we don't have a limited time. Okay, we're not gonna go sequence by sequence. This could turn into a 4-hour epic. But Austin Butler coming off of Elvis, okay, the Oscar nomination, playing this character. For me, I saw some still images and then a clip of his character, like just tormenting Dave Bautista for his character, for everything that he's done to shame their people, and one of the most menacing, frightening on-screen villains that I've seen in a long time. I mean, Austin Butler was in his bag. That guy really dove into the character and gave us something that it's something that I've always talked about, where when talking about what makes a movie great is a movie like this, you not only having a great protagonist, but a just as great, if not greater, antagonist. And he absolutely delivered on that end. I could definitely see an Oscar nomination coming his way. I don't care if it's March or however many months we are away from the next Oscars, because the one for last year is coming up. I
think he should, but I don't think they're going to give it to him because the type of character that he's playing. Like, I think they're going to give it. Javier Bardem will likely get a nomination over Austin Butler, but I agree. I think Austin Butler should, but I just think he doesn't, like, he plays the role great, but he doesn't have to like show a lot of emotion. It's a one note kind of character. He doesn't have a lot. The character doesn't have a lot of range.
There's no arc,
in my opinion. But I agree with you. I think his performance is good enough to be Oscar nominated. But I think you think they'll get 2 nominations for Best Supporting Actor? I'd be down with that.
Didn't Javier Spotlight Bardem or Foxcatcher get?
Yo, you can get multiple. Yeah, we'll see.
All the time.
Yeah, especially for supporting, they always do that, like multiple. But sorry to butt in, Gio, but I was just, I hope he does. I would vote for him over Javier Bardem.
That's a common criticism I see is, well, cool, Christopher Walken as the Emperor, but it's basically Christopher Walken,
Yeah.
In here. But
yeah, I would agree with that. That's my only. If there is a negative, that's my only one. Is that. And, I mean, Christopher Walken's one of the all-time greats, of course, but just, loved. I remember when they announced that. Christopher Walken. I don't know, but just I don't know. I would have.
Well, let me ask you, Keith. How is you read the books, right? How is the Emperor in the books? Is he more vocal, more like
more than
intimidating?
Way more. Yeah. He's way more than what you saw from Christopher Walken. This was way more scaled back than, and not as much time spent with him. You only have 2.5 hours to tell this, and even with all the stuff so the thing about both of these, and having read most, I'm not done with it, but having read most of the book, first one, obviously it's an adaptation, it's a movie, they've taken out a lot because the book's like 900 pages, so you got to cut a bunch of stuff. But this is like both these movies are really, in my opinion, kind of a basic-ish, I don't say basic, but kind of a simplified-ish version of the story, to be honest. And it's still a lot, even with that, it's still complicated. There's still a lot going on, but yeah. So there's a few characters that kind of are scaled back a little bit for the sake of screen time.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, So what did you think of Austin Butler, Keith? Like, are you on mine and Gio's level?
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's great.
Yeah,
absolutely. I thought he was great. He was I think it was I was watching the original one. You had to get the original one on Max, so I was watching that. And that was Sting. I think that was his character. Sting played that character. But that original
like the
one,
wrestler.
No, the singer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, can't you see?
He played Fade Rafa.
To me.
Yeah. And I gotta say,
wow,
that movie's not as bad as I remembered it, and I didn't have no idea what I was watching as a little kid. I remember my dad loves it. But watching it recently, I'm like, this is not as bad as people make it out to be. But no, I thought he was great. Yeah, he was incredible. There's a few people that could be nominated, in my opinion, in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to him later, I guess. But I think Timothée Chalamet was great. Like, this is the best I've ever seen from him. In my opinion. But
did you guys see Wonka?
No, I have heard nothing but good things about it.
Amazing in Wonka. He's better in this, but they're completely different performances, and like the fact that he can do both so well, like he is not overrated.
Not at all.
Like, if anything, I mean, he earns all the accolades he gets. Like, honestly,
yeah, I think he's very good. Yeah, I know he's kind of a pretty boy. People don't give him credit, but he's a really good actor. But yeah, I watched an interview with him talking about that, Jacob, how like coming from Wonka to this was like a real. It took its an adjustment for him. Like, the kind of lightheartedness of Wonka, jumping into this role, back into this role, it was definitely it was an adjustment for him. But Austin Butler, I have not still. I'm sorry to say, still haven't seen Elvis.
Well, so that's kind of the thing for me too. Is like he proved himself to me in this movie too, because Austin Butler. I seen Elvis. I love Elvis, the movie, and I love him in it. But everything else I've seen him in, I just feel like he's playing Elvis again.
Like Elvis? That's funny. I've heard that about him. Yeah.
Said that he had a hard time like getting rid of the voice and everything.
Right.
But anyways, seeing him in Dune, like he blew me up because it's so different. So like I'm like, this guy's legit too. Like both of these guys are gonna be killing it for a long time, honestly.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Man, that fight at the end between Paul and God, I keep not wanting to mispronounce his name.
Fade Rafa. Okay, so let me just say this before I forget. So like the knife fights, okay, the first one ends with a knife fight, the second one ends with a knife fight. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, does he fight both of them in the book? I mean, is it like, are they must have in those fights must haves?
Yes. Yeah. That's how they challenge each other.
They have to duel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a fight.
So like I'm just tired of the like, oh, you think the villain stabbed the hero, but no, the hero really stabbed the villain.
Sure.
I could have done without that cliche. I wish it would have
That was
just.
the thing. It's different in the book. It's he tries to. You don't mind what I mean? If anyone, just spoil the book, I guess.
I don't mind. I mean,
yeah.
But Fayed, whatever his name is, what's that? Fayed? I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know if it's Fade or Fayed Rotha.
Fayed? Yeah, it's hard to. But he tries to cheat. Basically, he tries to. It's similar to what it was similar to in Gladiator when Joaquin Phoenix and Russell Crowe, like that fight, he tries to do like a sneaky stab him with a secret hidden knife thing that you're not, and then that's when he kind of overtakes him and kills him. But yeah, no, that's how they settle it, because they got those little mini personal force field things. It basically renders projectile weapons useless. That's why there's so few of them. So that's why it's all a bunch of blades and swords and knives and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's a great, because I was wondering about that. I don't know enough about the Dune world, but like, why don't people use guns more in the Dune world? Like, it'd be like so much easier to like for like the battles and stuff, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Why don't people use sandworms more? Take over.
Yeah, say that. Yeah. Well, here, once you see.
Yeah. I was reading Jake's comment too, which is actually helpful. Yeah.
Similar to that. Like, I thought they were. I can't remember. It's been a while. I started reading a couple weeks back, but I thought he and Batista's character were. I thought they were cousins. I didn't know they were brothers, but I don't. Yeah, maybe that's something I don't know. I missed, but I don't know. But the fight itself between the two of them, I don't know which one. It's a good point you make, Jacob, with the way they choose to end both of these with fights with Paul. I will say, and maybe it's because I was reading it, I was expecting, because I did a similar thing to you. Actually, well, not similar. I ignored all the everything. Like, I didn't see what anybody was saying about this movie going in. Like, I would see. I don't really look at Twitter anymore at all. So, and any no reviews or anything like that. You just see like the little quotes that they put on screen in some of the TV spots. So I kind of knew people were hyped about it. I didn't realize how hyped it really was until after I saw it. And then, so I see what you're saying, where you kind of go into it like, okay, like that's why I probably feel like I love the first one a little more. I still love this one, and I agree, but I think there are maybe some people that are like, okay, I mean, it is very good, but damn, I don't know if it's like,
Yeah, and the thing is, maybe
all subjective.
Maybe I'll agree with them, in time.
That's why I say I would give it some more time. I definitely love it.
For me,
I don't have the same feeling I did as the first one.
I think movies can grow on you. Like, for example, when I first watched Logan, I loved it, right? But then I rewatched it like 15 times, and it's like my second favorite movie of all time. So like, I didn't think that after the first time, So like, movies can grow on you for sure.
Well, yeah, definitely, and certainly, in referring to that ending specifically, I kind of had the same feeling again of, wait, that's it? Like, because I thought there was some stuff I thought they would go into, they did not, and we'll get to that. We say there's a character, we only see her for a second. I thought we'd see more of.
Well, I mean, I think Dune Messiah is.
It's going to be all. It's going to be all that. Yeah.
I think they already.
You might as well get
right?
into it. Which character are you talking about? Jump into it.
Well, I don't remember her name, but it's Anya Taylor-Joy. Right? Aliyah, I think her name is Aliyah.
Anya Taylor-Joy. That's the same character that was inside
the baby, right?
She's the baby.
The baby, right? The fetus. Yeah.
Rebecca Ferguson, who we haven't mentioned Rebecca Ferguson yet, but she was amazing in this. Also, I was actually like scared of her in this movie. Like, once she drank the, what is it called? The
water of life.
Water of life.
Yeah. After she drank that, her character just went crazy, but in a good way. Like, she was amazing.
Yeah, she's totally different from the first movie, in terms of, because it felt like, okay, even though she's playing it the same way, you could just see the difference in that she has a plan. Like, it's like her religion or whatever they are, I don't know, the Bene Gesserit, like they had their plans to create this Messiah, or this savior, this chosen one, whatever. And it's like she has her own plans, kind of. And when you go back and watch the first one, you can kind of see that she is trying to carry that out. She's playing a role a little bit. But yeah, when it came time for her to drink that stuff, which she wasn't supposed to do, I guess.
Well, I feel like okay. What did her being pregnant, like, because remember they were like, what have we done? She's pregnant. So like, what was the big deal about her being pregnant? Like, do you know?
I think that's I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, what's the difference if she drank it, if she was pregnant or not? Like, maybe because it affects the baby, obviously. Like,
yes, so it did. Well, and it did.
Basically, the baby got sight as well. Like, it affected the infant as well.
And it wasn't supposed to. Yeah. You know,
so that's
similar
what,
way.
Yeah.
Because they're not supposed to. Like a way she wasn't supposed to have a son. Like, she's supposed to have a daughter. They're like this religious sect, and they only have women, and they can kind of manipulate their cells to where they can choose their gender of their children.
Yeah,
so
I caught on to that.
The Leia Sadu character was like, the bloodline has been secured. It's a girl.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And she decided, because of her love for Duke Leto portrays Oscar Isaac, she decided to have a son for him. And that's why, you know. And so, but it's just weird because, like, there's these prophecies are. So it's like, what are these prophecies? Like, did they make all that up, or like they made it up, of course, but the way she's manipulating the whole thing to make it come true. And you know, it's a bit of a mess. And then he's kind of like, Paul's kind of like Anakin, like he was manipulated to be born. He's kind of like Anakin Skywalker, in that they think, oh,
he's very much like
the chosen one, and maybe he's not the chosen one. Maybe the next one is actually the chosen one. It's Anya Taylor-Joy's character. So I mean, it's a lot.
I could see that. So how? I mean, obviously they'll adapt it to whatever they will think is best. But like, how far ahead in time is Dune Messiah supposed to be?
I think 10 years.
Okay. So are they gonna have like Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh, Zendaya aged up, and then have Anya Taylor-Joy be in the movie? Like,
I think so.
As a younger version, like she's supposed to be younger than them. I heard the character grows fast though, like at an accelerated rate. So I guess they could just say that.
Yeah. And I don't know, not knowing what changes, Villeneuve will make.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but yeah, because even, Zendaya also, by the way, speaking of Zendaya, I thought she was awesome in this. She was really, really great. I love her. One of the changes is that, she's actually kind of on board a little bit more. She's more on board with it in the books, is what Paul does.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
But I actually like that they changed that in this, and we'll see how that turns out in the second and the last one, because they even go on to have a child and everything. Her and Paul, which don't think that's going to happen in the movies here, but I thought she was awesome in this too. Don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I heard like at this point in the story, their kid is already born. Like, by the time the end of Dune 2, like they already have a kid. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, they're obviously adapting it, right? So and the characters themselves are really young too. Like, but I mean, for me, like one of the things that makes this movie so awesome is the action. like, and not just the worm riding and stuff, just the combat and that scene where they're I don't know what the machines are called. They're attacking one of the machines, and then are the flying things, are those the ornithopters, or are those the flying machines? Okay, so
and then I think the big, like, what, the spice harvester thing, I guess they're attacking.
Yeah, when they're attacking that, and then Paul and Chani are trying to like shoot down the ornithopter, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna run, and then when it opens up to shoot at me, you shoot at it. That whole scene was amazing. And
that was really
when
cool.
she like the dude's running at her and she shoots him with the rocket launcher thing, and he flies across the thing. I love that. And then when the missile was like stuck in the shield, and then it finally goes through and blows up.
Yeah.
That was incredible. That was like, that was my, probably my favorite scenes were with Austin Butler, but that was my favorite non Austin Butler scene was that sequence right there. It was freaking incredible.
Yeah, it definitely ramped up as far as the action sequences. It might have been the best one off the top of my head. They definitely ramp it up in this one. So,
and one of the criticisms people say about the first one is there's no action. There's more action than you think in the first one, than people think in the first one, than they give it credit for. There's quite a bit. But I just think there's just a lot of setup in the first one is all.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the way it ends too is because you get to the end of that movie, it feels like it's that Zendaya's line is the very last line is, "This is just the beginning," So it feels like.
But people said people should have learned from the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, like,
right.
And that movie is looked upon very fondly.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
the same people were saying the same exact thing after that
100%.
movie.
Because it's like Sam and Frodo. All right, well, we're going off our own. Let's go. And then
it's exactly almost identical, like the way the way they walk off.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Aragorn and the other two are like, all right, let's go hunt some orcs, and then they're running off into the woods, and then the movie just ends. So
yeah, exactly.
So that's a good comparison.
Yeah, definitely. Whew.
So let me ask you guys: by the end of the movie, is Paul Atreides a protagonist or an antagonist?
Jacob, what do you think?
I mean, think about what he does.
So, like, in movie sense, he's still a protagonist because the story's about him. He's the main character. But, like, in that world, is he a,
yeah,
he's not necessarily. I mean, I don't blame him. He was kind of forced into this. Like, he tried to not do it for so long, and like, I'm not going south. Like, so many bad things are going to happen. And then basically he's like, all right, I have to, I guess. So then he does it. And then he had to drink after he drinks the water, like both him and I think the water of life just, completely changes you, I guess. I mean, from what I can see, from what the movies are telling me. So yeah, I mean, I think he turned to the dark side, if we want to put it that way. I think he turned to the dark side.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think that Lucas definitely. I mean, he's been open about that forever. This how much he drew from this when making all the.
Oh yeah, he said he references it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like this is absolutely Anakin Skywalker for sure. And that's a good when you say he turned to the dark side, like that's exactly what happens to him. And so, that's a good question. Like, is he, in terms of this movie? I don't even know. By the time you get to the end, he's you can see that he's becoming the antagonist. And like I said, again, great performance from Timothée Chalamet because, it's interesting because like he knew he knew everything that was going to happen. Right, and he was trying to prevent it, but like he still knew what was going to happen. He still did it, and so that kind of makes him like he knew the kind of person he would turn into, and he said it all throughout. Like, I see just billions of bodies, everywhere, all because of me. And yeah, I don't know, man. He does get to a point, at least in the books, where he's like, he even like the Fremen are just taking over the whole universe, and he's like, we have to. He can't even stop it, to the point where even he tries to stop it. It's too out of his control, just like you said, And the fact that he knew that would happen and he still did it. I don't know, man. Curious to see what happens with him next. But
that is interesting.
His arc reminds me of Godfather Part 1 with Michael Corleone.
Very good. Yeah.
Resists for the longest time, and then once he gives in, you just see a complete flip.
Yeah.
Of his character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man. Whether Dune didn't intend it, because Dune was way before, but such parallels to like greatness, everything great that we've seen in cinema. Like, there's things you can trace back to Frank Herbert's Dune, and just how incredible. It's a book I would like to listen to in audio.
That's a great comparison, Gio, because similarly, because Frank Herbert, and just reading stuff about him, like the reason he made the sequels to those books, because people thought that Paul was his hero, and he made the sequels and specifically show, no, he's not. He's a bad guy. And it was the same thing. Coppola did the same thing with Michael Corleone in those movies. Like, he was frustrated with people, how much they love Michael Corleone, and in the Godfather Part 2, you hit the show like, no, he's a bad person. He's a bad guy. He's a bad leader. He's not a good family person. He's not a good Don. He's bad at this, and he wanted to show more of that in the sequel. So, Rachel, hello, Rachel. We say hi to everyone. Hello, everyone. By the way, hi to everyone. Rachel makes a good point. If you don't know the books, it's still a hopeful place. Yeah. Who knows what? Again, Denis Villeneuve made. Again, what changes he'll make. We don't really know.
And this is where I don't want you to spoil the books for me, Keith, because it might affect Dune 3.
I won't say this.
But from just speculating from the movies, like let's say there was no books and we just watched the movies, it seems like they're setting up like, okay, he's gonna, go down this path of being this dictator, and the Fremen are gonna eventually, like, they're gonna be, the Empire, basically.
Yeah.
And from what the movies are showing us, Chani might be the hero now.
Yeah,
who's gonna take down the Empire, who's gonna try to take down the Empire. That's where I see things going. Yeah. And I'm down, because I think there's a reason why the last shot of the movie is her face.
Her, right.
So I think eventually, and she's such a great warrior, and she has the motivation to do it, and maybe it's the right thing to do by the time she has to face that. So that's where I think it's all going, which I'm down for that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I say it's interesting, and I'm glad he made that change into the story. To make her be like, no, I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then for him to say, hey, I'll love you as long as I'm alive. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, hey, Florence Pugh, you're my girl now.
Yeah.
And her and then Zendaya's reaction to that was awesome. Like, I thought it was really good.
I love how everyone bows and she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like,
Zendaya. Wait till you meet Gwen Stacy in the MCU. Or Felicity. Right? Black Cat's Felicity. Right?
If they make her Gwen, they make her Gwen Stacy instead of, they just danced around making her MJ, Mary Jane. They just did everything except just call her Mary Jane.
Nah, she's MJ. Yeah. I thought it was an interesting question. I thought it was an interesting question for good old Paul Atreides.
Yeah.
over there standing on his throne. I have brought peace, freedom, justice, security to my new empire.
Yeah.
Parallels, man.
Absolutely.
Parallels.
Your new empire.
Zendaya in the background. Your new empire. What?
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, like it can't be emphasized enough. Once he drank that life of water, okay, because I had heard previously through word of mouth, like Timothy Chalamet just went to another level, and I'm like, I'm seeing little by little, but then once he, drank the juice, man, it's like when you drink those shots of tequila, but then that one shot that you drink activates all the other ones before it, and you're just like, you turn into a different beast, man. So,
I like the way he
go here
yells
real
at
quick. Yeah. Does it help me or hurt me that I haven't watched Star Wars before watching Dune? Interesting.
No,
I don't
it's
think
good.
so. I don't think so.
It's good. Because so much Star Wars, you'll see. It's funny because when the first movie the 2021 movie came out, I was hearing some people say, "Hey, this is copying Star Wars," and people, no,
Yeah,
I know. But I wonder if that's a good question. Because I wonder if and when you watch Star Wars, Rachel, will you say, "Oh, okay," like it's one of those things where you'll watch it and it'll click in your head, like, "Oh, that's where this is from." That's where
Guys,
this comes from.
think about it. There's the next generation could legitimately be one where they watch Denis Villeneuve's Dune before, whether intentional or not, before the Star Wars movies.
Sure.
I'm very curious how the next generation is gonna consume these movies.
I mean, it could be that could be the case for like toddlers right now, basically.
Sure, my niece.
Because I mean, a lot of young kids still watch like Star Wars cartoons and
right.
They love Grogu and stuff. But like, yeah, these younger kids that aren't aware of Star Wars yet, this could be theirs. But like at the same time, I don't know, like, because as a kid, as like a 6-year-old, right? You could sit in front of Star Wars and just be like, "Oh, this is fun." I don't know if you could do that as a 6-year-old watching Dune.
No, you can't watch.
No,
not a kid. I was
so maybe
4 or 5 when the first one came out. I had no idea what was going on, and so I doubt it.
Yeah,
but,
well,
I don't know.
It's an interesting idea to think about. Like at some point, maybe, who knows? Yeah. I'll tell you guys, I was really happy to see, because I completely forgot about Josh Brolin's character, Gurney, yeah. Because when the movie goes to the Harkonnen Coliseum, and they're like, he's gonna face the last standing of House Atreides, I'm like, oh, is Josh Brolin there? Is this how he dies? Like he's gonna get taken down brutally by Austin Butler, which I think Josh Brolin probably would have taken him, or put up a good fight. Put up a good fight at least. But yeah, when those who remain of House Atreides go up against Austin Butler's character, I'm like, oh, is Josh Brolin there? No. All right, he's not there.
Yeah.
And then you see him later, and you're like, yeah, he's right there. He just
so like that was the one of the characters that after the first one, I was like, well, they didn't, because I haven't read the books, right? So I was like, they didn't show him die. So like, and I love that character. So I'm like, he's not dead. Unlike, the Jason Momoa character from the first one. So like, I was glad to see him back for sure. And I think I saw it in a trailer before I saw the movie. So, and obviously we know he's in the cast. Like, so I don't think it was a spoiler necessarily.
Yeah.
Like,
but there's also the possibility that, because Denny did bring back some casts from the first movie, shot scenes, and then cut them out. So it could have been, that. But I mean, obviously it wasn't. But it was pretty cool to see his character back and, kicking butt. And how about the sweet revenge he gets on Dave Bautista's character? Glossu, and he just what does he say? He says he has one line, but he delivers it to perfection. He says like, "This is
for my
for
Duke,
my Duke. This is
and
for my
my
Duke,
friends."
my friend." Yeah,
Yeah.
And so I think this is for my Duke and my friends, like so all the people that died, that day too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah. I forgot what I'm just saying. As much as I watched the movie, that was a total just complete ambush of like all of House Atreides. Like they just wiped nearly just about all of them out.
yeah.
So yeah, for him to be the one to survive that and become a smuggler, he's essentially he's Han Solo, if you will.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so basically. No, yeah, it was really cool to see him come back. You guys know that's Patrick Stewart plays that character in the old.
I heard that.
Oh, in the old one, yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know if the old one's gonna ruin Dune for me or not, but I kind of want to watch it.
Watch it. No, you should watch it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
it won't scar you like the original Tron did. And trying to watch that today, it's just it hurts your eyes. It's just like, oh,
it's
God,
not.
I want to look at that. I feel like I'm watching a movie with 3D glasses on, the red and blue ones, except I'm not wearing the red and blue glasses. Like,
yeah.
No.
That one's tough to watch. That's a tough one. I think it's like I said, I hadn't just seen flashes of it when I was a kid, but yeah, I was watching it last week. I'm like, this is not as bad as people make it out. I think it's all right. There's a lot more inner monologue, and the book's kind of like that too.
I heard there's like a Dune Messiah and Children of Dune sci-fi series.
Yeah,
like
speaking
sci-fi
of
network series.
Patrick Stewart, what's his name? James McAvoy's in it.
Oh wow!
Apparently,
that's crazy.
Which I never watched it, but yeah, I want to watch that too. Came out like in 2002 or something, around that time, ish.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's probably so like low budget.
And we haven't really talked about this, but the soundtrack is just amazing.
100%.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Jeff Miller, hello, by the way, Jeff Miller back. Our buddy Jeff Miller.
Oh yeah, buddy? We got a lot of old faces.
Yeah,
from the Apocalypse days.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's Hans Zimmer, right? I haven't even. That's crazy.
Hans Zimmer. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 100%.
I like the score. It's subtle when it until it doesn't need to be. Like it's subtle until it's not, but then when it really comes out, it works in those moments.
Yeah. Agree. Especially, well, you mentioned the scene. Ooh, now that I think about it, I mentioned Jacob. We were talking about the attack on that spice thing. But now I don't know. It's a tie now between that and Paul Atreides jumping on catching the worm.
Oh yeah.
But the score there was, it actually stood out there. Oh my gosh! I'm like, I looked at my daughter, Charlize went to see it. I'm like, this is, oh my god. So I can't believe I haven't listened to it yet, Jeffrey. But you're I'm glad you got me on that. So yeah, I'm gonna listen to it as soon as we're done. I'm gonna put it on. But
so
definitely.
I know it's a 2-hour, 40+ minute movie, but so look, I love the movie. It's amazing, but for me, the end battle was a little underwhelming. Like the battle was so quick. I know it's supposed to be like, oh, the Fremen and Paul, their tactics, they just defeated them like that. And I know it's supposed to be that, but it didn't feel like not that
like
it should have been. Didn't feel like a end game battle or a Braveheart battle or a Return of the King battle. But it doesn't have to be that. Shouldn't be comparing it. But like I just wanted a little bit more to the battle. And then I don't know. So the transitions from like, okay, we're here and then we're going to the south, and then it's like they're in another place, then it just skips to the scene where he's drinking the water. Like I feel like a few of those they're not time jumps, but they are time jumps, but they're very short times. They're not like years, right? They're just like, hey, 3 weeks later or something, like however long it took them to get there. it's kind of like wait, I was just here, now I'm here, and it moves a little quickly. So those are my only two like major criticisms of the film. But other than that, it's freaking incredible. Like that's why I would say that's why I said like 9.5 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10.
I will say, I actually felt like because in the book, I keep saying, well, in the book, but I mean, in the book,
fine.
The Fremen, it's really not like, it's pretty quick. Like once they start fighting, they kind of just, it's kind of a blood. It's like Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals. Like they kind of just sweep.
Well, they didn't know it was coming, right?
I don't think they didn't know that there would be as many of them as there is.
Yeah,
and they underestimated how much of the
many different ways too, and they didn't know about the worms either.
Right. Well, and then Paul taught a bunch of them like their I forgot what they call it. There's a certain fighting, like knife fighting style that they use.
I see.
The Bene Gesserit that Paul like taught them. They didn't do that in the movie at all, but so yeah, it's not a struggle at all. It's pretty decisive in the book. So maybe that's why, I don't know.
Honestly, like if that's the case, then I'm fine with it. Like because it wasn't a battle; it was like they were punking them basically. Like
sure.
Like we're taking it. It's not even it's no contest. No contest.
Yeah. It's kind of like it. It's almost like in my head, or like I kind of imagine it. It's maybe not this bad, but it's almost like the Order of 66. Like the Jedi just.
I see what you're saying. Like
you know what I mean?
Completely. Yeah, they weren't prepared for it at all.
Right. Yeah. And for that many, like all the stormtroopers just.
And I say them, I don't know what is the, Christopher Walken? Is it it's not called the Empire, is it? Do they have a name? Like
it's just the Emperor.
It starts with an S. I can't remember what it's called. Their army is called
the Padishah Empire of the known universe, and head of House Cordino with the C.
Okay. But they're those white, like that white army with all the white on. They have a name. It's like it's a name that starts with an S. I can't remember.
Shockley? No, that's the name of a character. Huh. Jackson watching it like shaking his head right now.
Bad knowledge out of it. Yeah, bad job. But anyway, but yeah, they'll get wiped out pretty quickly. So. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, you can
there you go, Rachel. Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers. Yes, basically. They fight way better than Stormtroopers.
Yeah. Did Javier Bardem's character get old for you guys after a while, or not?
No,
because for me, it was just enough levity. A different side of Javier Bardem that we don't really see that much, just whether unintentional or not, he was pretty funny in this movie.
Yes. Yeah, he was.
Just, playing the guy who's all in and believes it no matter what. You can't tell him otherwise, every error is like, no, that's meant to happen. He's meant to do this.
Right.
The theater got, including myself, we got a couple of laughs, man. And now you're seeing memes everywhere. I'm telling you, like, if this movie makes $1 billion, it'll be because of the things that go viral. Javier Bardem's character and
as it was written,
his thing as it was written. Lisan Al-Gib, the sandworm riding through the movie theater lobby that's gone viral, or the popcorn buckets. There's like this movie, as complex as it is, as heavy as its themes are, I could see it, like catching on for like even younger audiences and whatnot. So
yeah, I think so. And I mean, as far as Javier Bardem goes, no, I think the movie needed him. Like if you just take his character out of the movie, it's like you know, I wouldn't blame someone if they said it was boring, honestly, because he just adds a bolt of energy to the movie that it really needs. And even though he's not intentionally cracking jokes in the movie, but what he's saying is funny in the context of what's going on. So
right,
it works that way. And I really enjoyed his character. Like, to me, it's like the movie falls apart if his character's not there. So yeah, he was awesome. He was awesome. And also, like, he's very willing to, you know, he's a man of faith, but he's very willing to kill as well. He's ready to go at the end of that movie, like,
yeah, right,
and like go conquer the other houses.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, he's such a, you know, they're such religious. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're so
anything for the, what do they call him? What do they call? Paul has like 4 different names and titles.
He does. He does.
Like, he has a Fremen name.
Muad'Dib,
something like that. Yeah,
Muad'Dib.
Yeah. He has like his Fremen name, and then his warrior Fremen name, and then his just Paul Atreides, and then
that Messiah name that they call him.
The Messiah name.
The explanation of that warrior name. That was
the mouse.
That was pretty beautiful.
That was cool. That was very good.
The rat.
Oh, who was talking about, like, oh, they call him this, and it's like, it's a strategic name. Like, it was someone on the, you know, on the other side, on the Empire side, that was talking about, like, rumors of this warrior with this, you know, they call him this. And yeah, that was really cleverly done. It might have been Florence Pugh.
Yeah,
I think so. And I love that, because like they show that animal earlier on in the movie, and you're like, oh, it's just a little cute thing. Like, you think it's for no reason, but it's not for, it actually had purpose, which was awesome.
And there's a shot in the first one where they show it too, when he and his mom were buried in they're hiding out in the sand. They show one. Yeah, exact same kind of placement. So yeah, that's definitely intentional. You know, but the Sardukar, that's the name I was trying to think of. The soldiers, the military.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's
the Sardukar.
Sardukar, that's what I was trying to think of. But yeah, that just real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But yeah, same Florence Pugh, same thing. I thought there would be more with her. So it's hard to kind of. I mean, she's great in everything. Just to jump back real quick, Javier Bardem is always awesome. You know, yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. But yeah, I thought Florence Pugh and Leah Seydoux, same. I thought we'd see a little bit more of them. I think we will, certainly, but we definitely will.
I don't think there was enough time, but
yeah.
I think they introduced them, like, knowing there's going to be more of them in the next movie.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that next movie, to see how I'm curious to see what changes he'll make, how he adapts the story, and what roles each of those characters will play. I'm loving it, man. You know, so I don't care.
Yeah, no, I can't wait either. I mean, if it's on par, like, or I mean, if the third one's just great and maybe not as good as the first 2, but just still great, it's going to be one of the best trilogies.
One of the great trilogies, yeah.
Never thought we would get another one. I mean, I always hoped for another, like, you know, great trilogy, but you never know. So this could be one of them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see, guys. That announcement should be coming soon. It should be coming soon. Maybe after the second weekend numbers, and you know, it hits a milestone. But thank you so much for everyone joining us in the chat for our Dune Part 2 discussion. Rachel, Stardrew, Curtis, Jeffrey, John Pierce. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. We see you, John Booz, Jake Berlin. Thanks, guys. This is I think this is the most we've had on our stream so far. We're 4 weeks in, 4 episodes in. Again, this is Fandom United, a Blockbuster podcast, and we just got done discussing probably not only the first major blockbuster, but probably the biggest blockbuster of 2024. We'll see what happens with Deadpool 3. And thanks again for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate it. We love being back here. We have missed this, and we look forward to having more discussions on the channel. Again, that's every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Come by, stop by, and say hello and add to the discourse. And Keith, Jacob, thanks again. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. Yes. And yeah, that'll do it for this week. You guys have a great weekend. Be safe, and hopefully we'll see you a week from now. Take care.